Thank you for joining this lesson. We're going to do a paper 1 question here from floating and sinking. So the question is telling us that a cube of volume 0.15 meters cubed and density 800 kilograms per meter cubed is placed in a liquid of density 1200 kilograms per meter cubed. Then we are told to determine, part 1, the fraction of the volume of the cube immersed in the liquid. Therefore, when this solid has been placed on the liquid, a portion of it is sunk in the liquid with another portion floating in the same liquid. So the fraction of the volume of the cube immersed in the fluid. So it is very important. For this case, we consider the law of flotation to solve part 1. The law of flotation, which says that a solid displaces its own weight of the fluid in which it floats. So what we do, because for the cube we got its volume and its density, we can get its mass. So we can start by getting mass of cube. Mass is given by density times volume. So a density of 800 and a volume of 0.15. This is going to give us a mass of 120 kilograms. 120 kilograms, which means now because this mass is mass of the cube total, then the weight of the cube is going to be mass times gravity, which is 120 by 10, and this makes 1200 Newton. So 1200 Newton is the weight of the cube, and because it is floating in a given liquid, then it is going to displace 1200 newtons of the liquid in which it is floating, according to the law of flotation. This one is the law of flotation. The law of flotation is the one which will guide us here. So because it is floating, then it displaces the same weight in that liquid where it floats. Therefore, weight of liquid displaced is going to be the same value, which means we can get mass of liquid that gets displaced, and the mass of the liquid that gets displaced is still 120 kilograms when we divide the weight with G. Now that we have mass of liquid that got displaced and we got density of that liquid, then we can get volume of liquid that has been displaced. So volume of liquid displaced. We know that if density equals to mass out of volume, then to get volume we have to divide mass and density. So a mass of 120 and a density of 1200, this gives us 0.1 meters cubed. So 0.1 meters cubed is the volume of the liquid that got displaced, which means for this volume of liquid to get displaced, then an equal volume of the solid has been immersed in that liquid. So we can say volume of solid which has been immersed is equal to be the same volume. It is going to be the same volume. Why? Because for the solid to displace a liquid which is 0.1 cubic meters, then it should itself submerge 0.1 meters cube. That is displacement in book 1 physics. Okay, now that we have known the volume of the solid that got immersed in the liquid, and we are told to find the fraction of the volume of the cube immersed in the liquid. Then we can say it is the fraction now. The fraction is going to be, we can have the fraction which has been immersed out of the total volume, and this volume is going to be, when we take 0.1 divided by 0.15, the fraction is going to be 2/3. So 2/3 is the volume that has been immersed. The fraction of the volume of the cube immersed in the liquid. It is 2/3 of the solid, or 2/3 of the cube. So 2/3 of the cube has been immersed. Let's check Roman 2 of this question. The Roman 2 is telling us to determine the weight that must be added on top of the cube so that it fully sinks. So now, with its weight, with a cube of weight 1200 newtons, only 2/3 of it is submerged. So the other remaining 1/3 to be fully submerged requires what? So we can say 2/3 has been submerged when the total weight 1200 newtons is acting. So what about the remaining 1/3? What amount of force or amount of weight is it going to require for it to get fully submerged? And so we can multiply 1/3 and 1200, then we divide with 2/3, which means multiplying with 3/2. So this gives us 1/3 times 1200 times 3/2, and this gives 600 newtons of force. So this is the weight that will be added to this solid so that it gets fully submerged. Thank you for following. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and share the link with your friends. This link can be forwarded to as many friends as possible. Remember to subscribe and refer people to Shifting Grades. In case of any questions, kindly feel free to consult me through the number written here, 0704 153 366. So when you consult me through this, I'm going to sort your issues in physics. Thank you for following. Subscribe.